The following program is intended for mature audiences.
A democratic republic of sports. The Sportsocracy with ESPN Asheville hosts Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene.
Welcome into the Sportsocracy. I'm Tank Spencer. Brian Haynes alongside, as well as, of course, Jeremy Greene. It is a Friday, and yeah, we're feeling frisky. Look. He went and got his haircut.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brian actually looks like he doesn't smell anymore.
Yeah. Bingo.
Welcome.
And look at that. It's just,
It's glorious. Look at this. Just gloriousness. Yes.
the one little curl is.
Well, when I went in there and I said, I want the farthest left liberal haircut that you could possibly get. And
what's the dude equivalent of a Karen? Is he a Kyle now?
I'm a Kyle.
He's a Kyle.
Nice.
Listen, just dead sexy. Let's be honest
we all
here.
show our solidarity in other ways this month.
Yep.
The NBA playoffs continue to roll on. Last night, the Milwaukee Bucks actually showed some fight in Game 3 against the Brooklyn Nets. Utah took Game 2 against the LA Clippers. And, since it's the summer and we're just making shit up, we're going to do top 40 quarterbacks in the NFL today. We all did our own top 40 list. So Jeremy went with, based on talent evaluation, top 40 quarterbacks in the NFL. I went with my projected production for quarterbacks this year.
Kind of like a player football focus kind of thing?
Sort of,
rankings?
but way less scientific.
Okay.
And then you went with top 40 fantasy quarterbacks this year. He's all about the fantasies with this new haircut.
I said, hey, Mr. Fantasy, play us a tune, sing a song. Okay.
Did you ask for a unicorn tattoo?
No, I did not. I did not.
Okay. All right, just curious on that one. Welcome, everybody, into the comment section as well. And be sure to hit that subscribe button here so you see all of our content as it comes out. We're continuing to roll on with our off-season reviews. Yesterday, Brian and I talked some baseball about the big goo ball scandal that's going on right now in Major League Baseball. The Speedocracy for the week is out. Caleb and I recapping last week's race at Sonoma and previewing the All-Star race for NASCAR coming up this Sunday down at Texas Motor Speedway. Anyway, hit that subscribe button, share, like, all that good stuff. Let's get into it. Last night, the Milwaukee Bucks survived against the Brooklyn Nets, 86-83. The first 2 minutes of the game made it look like this was going to be a 30-point blowout the other way. Milwaukee came out on fire, and Brooklyn couldn't hit water out of a boat. A couple of big Giannis dunks caused an early timeout for the Brooklyn Nets. And, the lead lasted for a quarter for the Milwaukee Bucks. Then in the second, Brooklyn started hitting some shots. It was pretty much an even game at halftime, and then it went right down to the wire at the end. Kevin Durant missing the opportunity to tie the ball game there in the late seconds and send it into overtime. Bucks win 86-83.
86-83.
86-83. I've seen a lot of people trying to compare this to 90s basketball. Man, that's 90s basketball all over, isn't it? No, it's not. That's what you saw on the final score.
That was hot garbage.
You saw the final score looked like a 90s basketball game.
Here are the Brooklyn scored 11 in the first. Milwaukee scored 15 in the second.
Yep.
They both scored under 20 in the fourth. This might have been the ugliest playoff basketball game that I've ever seen.
It was pretty god-awful.
Oh, my God.
On a scale of 1 to god-awful, it was god-awful.
Yeah. There's no way a playoff basketball team should really score under 100 in this day and age.
In this era, yeah.
In this era. It's weird. And it's not like there was tremendous defense played. They just missed shots. Everybody. Everybody on the court.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, there were a lot of players that just, they couldn't hit anything. It was a struggle offensively for both teams. Milwaukee ended up edging them out, and to me, it looks like this might be the only game that they get in the series. Well, you talk about things that are repeatable. I don't see Brooklyn continuing to shoot 25% from three-point range and under 40% from the floor for the rest of the series.
Here's the thing. It didn't change anything for the series for me. I still look at the series the same way. I told you they need to come out and impose their will.
Yep.
They did that in the first quarter, and they couldn't hang on. They were up 28-9 at one point. This should not have been a game.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it was, because they could not hold on to a lead. They got lucky, and to be honest with you, they got lucky at the end. Because for some fucking reason, Bruce Brown took the shot with, 20 seconds to go?
I don't understand that at all.
Which I don't get at all.
Right.
If you were making a top 5 of guys that should take game-winning shots for the Nets, Bruce Brown would not be on it. If you made a top 10, he might be on the backside of it.
Right.
For sure. I mean, Chris Middleton actually played okay.
Well, I mean, him and Giannis were the only two.
Yeah.
I mean, they're the only
Middleton
ones
hasn't really showed up so far.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying. He finally showed up a little bit, which, when Giannis scores 33 and Middleton scores 35, you would think that this would have been a blowout, but then you just look at everybody else and it was just like,
There was nothing. There was no support for those two guys last night. Last night, great for Milwaukee. They get a win, but it changes not very little about what I thought about this series after the first two beatdowns. I don't think Milwaukee reclaimed any momentum.
No.
Last night. They just won a very, very ugly basketball game.
Yep.
And so now Game 4 will come up on Sunday, I believe it is. And
I'm really glad I bet the under on that.
yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
I didn't really realize that until there was about 8 minutes to go, and I went, well, they'd have to score 100 points in this quarter to beat the over-under.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
Yeah. Because the over was like 230.
32.
Yeah. Missed it.
Missed it by that much. Only missed it by 68 points.
Right. Meanwhile, the over in the Utah Jazz and the LA Clippers series game, that was a good bet. I think it was 222 when I last saw it.
It was.
And
I got it at 221.5.
And it was a 117 or 111 ball game.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to be really honest with you. The Clippers have no shot of winning the series.
Yep.
Yeah.
I feel as sure the Clippers get beaten this series as I do any team left in the playoffs, including the Atlanta Hawks. You have now taken you've had 2 games. Now, granted, they were in Utah and they were all that. I get that. Mm-hmm. You've had no Mike Conley now twice, and you still couldn't do it. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to say something, and this is going to be a little unpopular. You know how every team talks about having the Batman and the Robin to the Batman. The Robin to Kawhi Leonard's Batman is not Paul George. It's not.
No.
It's Reggie Jackson.
Okay.
It is.
All right.
That's who it's been for both of these
Okay.
games. It's Reggie Jackson.
I got you.
So they've kept these games close because there was no Mike Conley there to guard Reggie Jackson. Well, he's going to be back in this series. Mm-hmm. At this point, I don't know that he has to come back, but he will be able to.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that the Clippers are going to win a game in this series. They won 1 game at home in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I mean, again, I just go back last series, we kind of played them for dead and they came back. And so there's still that hope, I guess, you can have for them. But, I mean, it just doesn't look to be heading in that kind of direction to me. Yeah. I guess I look at this differently because I felt like, Luka was the only person Dallas had. I don't believe that with Utah.
Yeah.
They have lots of pieces. They just have guys that score. I mean, Jordan Clarkson comes off the bench to give you 20 a game. Bogdanovich can score whenever he wants to sometimes. Joe Ingles just hits 3-pointers whenever he wants. It's just, and listen, Spider Mitchell is just unbelievable. He's so good.
A spider.
I like him a lot.
I do too.
I mean, it's a team that you got 2 definite all-NBA superstars, but they put the right cast around them. There's more of a, I don't know, team feel with Utah, being able to spread the ball and count on. I think right now they might be the most balanced team.
Yeah, and
in the playoffs right now, aside from maybe Phoenix.
No, I would say they're the most balanced team.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of look at this team very similar to the Pistons teams that came through ended up beating Kobe and Shaq's Lakers before they split up and all that. They just had a lot of really good players, real big role players. I mean, Donovan Mitchell is more of a superstar, I think, than anybody that was on those Pistons teams. Yeah. But
absolutely.
You still had, defense. You had Ben Wallace. You got Rudy Gobert. You have the point guard Chauncey Billups, the veteran, and you have Mike Conley. You have Rip Hamilton. That's kind of like, I guess, maybe Jordan Clarkson or whatever combination of that, and Tayshaun Prince. Those guys. I feel like this is that kind of team. Other than, the only difference is Donovan Mitchell's awesome, and so when you have a team like that, when you do have a superstar, but the rest of your role players are playing to exactly what they need to do, they're going to be a tough team to beat. And I would actually kind of love to see a team like Utah win the championship solely based on, instead of one of these super teams that were built.
Yeah.
This is kind of a different story here.
Yeah. Alex Sander, we're right there.
Yeah.
I just opened up the YouTube comments. He said basically the exact same thing I did. Utah feels like the most complete team right now in these NBA playoffs, which is a weird statement to have because, it's a team that just never put it together.
Well, you just don't get easy baskets on them. I mean, last night, Rudy Gobert basically stood around the basket and went, come on down, Kawhi or Reggie or whoever.
Yeah, and you saw last night why he's the 3-time Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah,
he had 3 blocks and 2 steals, I think, last night. He's one of the most.
And he did that in a game where they just absolutely refused to go at him.
But he's one of the most disruptive players in the NBA.
Absolutely. I mean, when he's in the game and he's at the goal, you can't go there.
No.
It's just, you can't. No, you're not going there. Not at all.
So 117-111, Utah Jazz beat the LA Clippers last night. They take a 2-0 series lead, and they're in full control of that one. I feel like Utah's going to move on easily. I still feel like Brooklyn's going to move on easily. And then
I'm still at that easily. It's that word easily that you keep saying that's bothering me.
Okay, again, last night Brooklyn was god-awful offensively.
So was Milwaukee.
Yes, I get that.
And they were both god-awful.
I get that, but that's in character now for Milwaukee. They've done that for 3 games in a row now.
If you're a gambler, you should take whatever he says and you should put that on a podium and do the exact fucking opposite.
Do the opposite.
So I'm going to say Milwaukee does not lose this series easily. I will still say the Nets probably win this series.
Yeah.
But I think it's that easily that's bothering me.
So Milwaukee's going to get another one?
I'll say they get another game.
Okay, another one. All right.
They could win. They could win Game 4. It's still at home, Milwaukee's a kind of a different kind of animal during the playoffs. It's not an easy place to play because that's all they really have.
Well, they gave a little bit of hope last night.
Yeah.
Winning a game last night, even though it wasn't an impressive win, it wasn't anything like that, you still gave hope.
Yeah.
So you gave your crowd a reason to show up to Game 4.
Yeah.
If they were down 3-0, it would be awfully damn quiet in Milwaukee. I don't think it's going to be for Game 4.
Yeah.
Right.
Meanwhile, tonight, we've got the Eastern Conference Series between the Hawks and the 76ers going back to Atlanta. That series tied up 1-1. That'll be your first game tonight at 7:30.
Yep, that's going to be 2-1 Philadelphia.
You want to do picks at the end of the show?
No, we'll do them right now.
Okay, let's go ahead and do picks. Hawks, Philly's a 1-point favorite.
76ers.
On the road at the Atlanta Hawks tonight, and the over-under is 224.5.
Under. No. Under.
Maybe.
Under. Blowout.
Under. All right. He's taking Philly and the under, 224.5. And 10 o'clock tonight, your 2021 NBA champion Denver Nuggets.
Yep.
Are
12 wins away, right?
Down 2.
12 wins away, baby.
Still
12 wins away.
We're just a little stalled out on 12 wins.
We've been stuck on 12 for a hot minute, but things are going to turn around here for the old fighting Jeremy Greens.
Yeah, the fighting Jeremy Greens have been lambasted by their head coach.
Yeah.
They return home tonight where they will probably have the uptick, obviously, from the home crowd.
Yep.
They will also get the little boost from the ceremony that they're going to have before the game for Nikola Jokic winning the 2021 NBA MVP.
Crowd's going to be crazy. They're going to be high as hell, ready to rock and roll.
But on the other side, you've got,
crowd's going to be crazy, crazy, crazy.
But on the other side, you still have DeAndre Ayton to deal with. You still have Devin Booker pouring in buckets. You got Chris Paul leading this team. It's a win. It's a must-win situation.
I think this is going to be a game where you see what a good coach does for his team when he does that.
Yeah.
Like when he gets out there and he calls them out and he calls them a bunch of wussies, basically.
Bunch of bitches.
Yeah.
Bunch of bitches.
And he's just said, you guys suck. They're going to be like, oh yeah, coach, watch this. And like I said the other day, I think Joker's going to have 40, 14 and 10, something like that, some crazy triple-double. And he's just going to take over the entire game.
Yeah.
100%.
I think Joker goes nana.
Yeah.
Then again, I said that in the last game, and well, that didn't fucking happen.
It did not go the way you wanted it to, but everything comes back to the mean, and his mean has been unbelievably great this year. So Denver is a 1.5-point favorite at home.
Wah, wah, wee, wah. Great success.
And the over-under is 223.
Ooh.
Wah, wah, over. Great success.
The over. Thank you. And do you have a Monkey Knife Fight play of the night?
I do.
All right, let's do the Monkey Knife Fight play of the night. Go to monkeyknifefight.com. Set yourself up an account today and use our promo code TANK, T-A-N-K.
Ooh, I like that one.
Tonight, if you create your account and make your initial investment, use our promo code TANK. MonkeyKnifeFight.com will match it up to $50 and also give you a $5 free play, which you can use on tonight's game. Jeremy.
I am playing the more or less 3x multiplier between the Philadelphia 76ers and the Atlanta Hawks. I will take under 32.5 points for Joel Embiid because I don't think he's going to have to play much in the fourth quarter. I will go over 27.5 for Trae Young because I think he's going to try to do a lot himself.
So you are aggressively on the Philadelphia 76ers.
I'd say they win this game by 15.
Oof. I like that pick right there. That looks perfect. I mean, that's just free money, y'all. Free.
It is to me. Now, that line's going to move aggressively, so you got about an hour to go get that.
Yeah.
And I would, because I don't see any way that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Embiid would have to play a full complement. Now, if you think this game stays close, then I could be convinced otherwise. I don't. And I don't think they have anybody to guard Ben Simmons now.
Yeah.
So Simmons is going to take more of the workload. I still don't like John Collins being on Toby Harris. I just don't think Embiid has to be the point guy tonight.
Right.
I don't think he's going to have to score 35 for them to win. I think he can score 20, have a good all-around game, and not play in the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 20 and have like 17 rebounds or something like that.
Well, Trae Young's going to have to figure out how to go gangbusters against Ben Simmons, or this series is over. If he's not scoring 35 to 45 points nights,
he might need to score 50.
It's going to be rough sledding for the Atlanta Hawks, no doubt about it. All right, support for the Sportsocracy is brought to you by Manscaped.
Oh, yeah, Manscaped.
That's right. Manscaped.com. Don't forget to use our promo code Sportsocracy at Manscaped.com. Get 20% off of your purchase. Also, free worldwide shipping. Manscaped is the world champion of men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. They just launched their 4th-generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0.
This guy right here.
We have right out here.
Yep. Got to get it.
Right.
Gotta get it.
Imagine shaving with a sleek, well-designed, and optimized trimmer that makes shaving time your favorite time in the bathroom. The thing that I love about this is that it's got like so many more bells and whistles than just your average
trimmer.
Shaver. Yeah, exactly. It's got the little spotlight on it. It's got a little LED.
Spotlight on there? Holy smoke!
4,000K LED spotlight that you can turn on and off, you know, when you're getting in those nooks and crannies. Yeah, think about that.
Something about Tank's nooks and crannies just made me throw up in my mouth just a little bit.
So, you know, to give you a more precise shave, it also has wireless charging.
Oh, my goodness.
That's the coolest part of the whole thing. Is,
2021, get back.
That's right. That's right. Wireless charging that uses electromagnetic induction, which will help lengthen the life of the battery. of the shaver as well. Get 20% off today at manscaped.com. Free shipping with the promo code Sportsocracy. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. Your balls will thank you.
Thank you, balls.
Now, I don't really know where the inspiration came for the top 40, but I guess it's just summertime and Jeremy's just feeling nostalgic that he wanted to get back to the days of, America's top 40. Casey Kasem, how can you forget?
I'm Casey Kasem. This long distance dedication from Julio to Bat. Bat, it was fun while it lasted, but now it's over.
Right. Heard on every irritating radio station in your life. The top 40, we all have our own, and today we're talking quarterbacks in the NFL. I guess should I turn on my top 40 radio voice for this one?
Yeah,
playing those stacks of wax this morning in the Sportsocracy, the top 40 quarterbacks in the NFL for 2020. Look,
Shout out to Sharon from Brian. Sorry, I gave you the crabs.
Brian says
Get
he's
some
sorry.
new shampoo.
Brian says he's sorry he slept with your sister. This song's for you. This is the Pretenders. Won't you forget about me?
So in our top 40 quarterbacks list, yes, we understand there are only 32 starting quarterbacks in the NFL, but we all know injuries happen year after year. Some quarterbacks are not going to make it to the end of the season. Some quarterbacks aren't going to start many games this year, which you will find with a lot of our rankings. We have 2 quarterbacks from the same team ranked because good chance is we're not going to start the year with 32 starting quarterbacks and the same 32 is going to end the season. So, going into this year, Jeremy went Mr. Talent Evaluator.
Yep.
Who are the top 40 most talented quarterbacks in the league? Mm-hmm. Brian goes with fantasy projections for this year, and mine is just, an expected performance for 2021. Exactly. Sort of like he said, a non-scientific PFF ranking.
And while we do this, we want you to, in the comments, give us the best songs that you ever put on a mixtape for a spouse.
Yes,
right.
absolutely.
For a girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever the case may be. All of your favorite mixtape songs in the comments.
Well, because everyone did it. At some point, you did it. Whether you want to admit it or not, you made a mixtape, a burnt CD.
I never did a mixtape because I don't really know how one would do that.
Yeah.
If you gave me a tape right now and said, get songs on this, I mean, I would do it.
It was a lot of listening to the weekly top 40 and hitting record at the right time.
Oh, absolutely.
Listen,
and that was the thing that pissed me off the most. Like, see, that's how I grew up loving radio. That's how I got into the radio business, was listening to the songs all the time. And you try to record them off, and when, DJs love to hit the post. You know what that means?
They talk over the beginning of the song.
You talk over the beginning of the song, and you hit the post right when the lyrics start. And every time you would talk over the beginning of the song, it's like, God, I got to start it over again.
This guy. Those mixtapes were the best. Like, how can I possibly explain myself in words? I can't write it down or speak to you, so I must give you songs that express my heart to how much I love you.
We had a Pee Wee Herman song of the day, and Kevin Vick hit it. It was the second song put in the comments. Casey and JoJo all my life.
Damn, boom.
I literally said before the show, if somebody doesn't say Casey and JoJo, I'm burning it down. So he went full Pee Wee Herman.
Oh my God, if you're not putting Casey and JoJo or like Nobody by Keith Sweat, that is some booty shaking right there.
Nobody, baby.
Or the Twisted. You got me twisted, girl. You got me twisted over you.
We can't play those songs on, so this is the best we're going to get.
I think we need to get him on stage with Brian McKnight when he comes to the comes to Silverados for the 2021 outdoor concert series.
I have been called the songbird of my generation.
You have been.
We have.
I want to throw this out there. When Brian McKnight comes to Silverados, to the outdoor concert series 2021 here in Black Mountain, I will say they should hand condoms out of the door. Just we know what you're going to do. You're going to need this.
Michael Whiteside's correct. "I'll Make Love to You" by Boyz II Men.
Yeah,
that was one of the top.
That was
hits.
always on there.
By the way, I looked at him at the wrong time, and he looked me dead in the eyes, and the next words out of his mouth were, I'll make love to you. And now I want to go lay under my car and wait for it to rock back over me.
You can tell how much older me and Tank are than Jeremy because we were naming off some songs this morning, and I was like, yeah, I definitely had like Journey, Faithfully, and Pat Benatar, We Belong. We belong together.
See,
and Jeremy was like, what the fuck, man? You guys are old.
Kevin Vick knows Cherry Pie by Warrant. That's another good.
Cherry Pie.
Yeah.
She's hot cherry pie. Oh my God.
That was a good one. See that? I don't know. I'm not sure how old Kevin Vick is. Kevin Vick, how old are you? Are you old enough to have put Scotch tape on the top of a
Walkman?
Of a cassette tape so you can put it in and record over it?
Oh, I never did that.
You never did that?
No.
You could take like all the old. So I used to piss my sister off by taking all of her New Kids on the Block tapes and taping over the top.
Yeah.
And then you could put it in and record anything you wanted to over it.
Yeah.
It was the best thing in the world.
Oh, for sure.
Torture her.
Oh yeah, Kevin Vick is my age exactly, 43 years old.
Okay, all right,
dog.
Cool. So yes, Kevin Vick he did have to do that trick.
Although I can pass for probably 42 now.
It's the first time I've had a comment, and I didn't say it. If we get to 3,
Proud of you.
I'm not gonna be able to hold back.
I am
Because
so
that one would not have ended well, but I would have laughed a lot.
No, so in honor of the top 40 days, continue to fire away with your mixtape songs or burnt CD songs that you made for a girl in high school.
Or a guy.
Or a guy, yeah, we're not.
Or a labradoodle.
I mean,
whatever
we
it
don't care.
is
We
that
don't
you
care.
want to do, that's up to you.
Yeah. Zach Hurst just said, Jesus Christ, my Apple Music is going to be awesome today because of you guys.
Yes.
That algorithm's going to pick up on so many things you've never heard or haven't heard in a long
You go
time.
back home and play it for Anna. She's like extremely pregnant. And
Here's the thing, Steel Panther. You just go get you some Steel Panther, and you make it go. You don't know what I'm talking about.
So let's get into the bottom 10 of the top 40 quarterbacks lists here. I'm looking at the graphic and I'm just trying to see similarities here. It looks like we all have Tyrod Taylor in this category.
So a lot especially for fantasy, for my 40, there was some interchangeable parts. I was kind of going on the assumption that Cam Newton's going to start week 1. I'm going on the and also that Deshaun Watson's playing this year. There's a lot of like could be's or maybes on this list. I kind of went with assuming a lot of different things.
Right.
I don't believe, Jordan Love obviously would probably be in the top 32 if Aaron Rodgers isn't playing, these kind of things. Even maybe he shouldn't. I like all the miscommunication coming out of Green Bay. One time a day, it's like, oh my God, he threw the ball over the field and he was awesome. And the next one's like, yeah, check down Charlie sucks.
Yeah.
So that's pretty funny. I'm assuming Justin Fields starts day 1 instead of Andy Dalton, or that would be different. Mm-hmm. So there's a couple different things that would change on there.
31 to 40, I've got Andy Dalton, Tyrod Taylor, Jalen Hurts, Drew Lock, Mac Jones, Teddy Bridgewater, Trey Lance, Taysom Hill, Jacoby Brissett, Taylor Heineke. Those are the bottom guys that I think are going to be at least somewhat relevant at some point this year, because I don't think Andy Dalton holds on to his job. Tyrod Taylor's surrounded by absolutely nothing with Houston. There's no doubt to me that Tyrod Taylor is going to be the starter in Houston. I'm pretty much sold on the fact that Deshaun Watson's not going to be there anymore. But what kind of production can you get out of those weapons?
Yeah.
You don't really have a whole lot. I absolutely hate Jalen Hurts, so maybe I'm being maybe I'm being too mean here.
Yeah.
But as far as now, again, this is performance based. Jeremy's is talent based. Brian's is fantasy based. That's why Jalen Hurts is not in his bottom 10.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts is going to be much higher for Brian than for the rest of us, because he is fantasy relevant. I just don't think he's a good NFL quarterback.
Yeah.
Right.
I also don't. I'm going to give you a solid piece of fantasy advice, and you can take it for what it's worth.
Uh-huh.
I would not feel great if I had a draft coming up in the next, 3 weeks.
Uh-huh.
I would not feel great about drafting Jalen Hurts. I think there's too high a likelihood that that Deshaun Watson winds up there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know what to do with either one of them, to be really honest with you. This is also why we don't have fantasy drafts this early.
Yeah.
Although we will
Yeah.
for the Campus to Canton League.
C2C, baby.
When are we gonna be doing the draft?
As soon as it fills. Just got to get people in.
Just got to get people
Come on
Drink
in,
it
man.
in, man.
The water's warm, guys. Come on in, man. We're going to have a joyous time. I'm telling you right now.
Right. I encourage everybody to create their own teams. Is that how this works? We going to have somebody come to us and say, hey, these are the 3 that we want to run our team? Or are we going to mix and match? Or are we going to blind draw it?
Well, somebody's got to be here because they got to be here for the draft and shit.
Right.
So every team's got to have somebody that's Asheville local.
Right.
Other than that, I don't care.
But I'm saying, like, say Zach Hurst wants to form his own team, which I know he does. And he wants to team up with our good friend Adam Harris. And I don't know who the third would be in that, but they wanted to come together as a trio. Is that allowed?
First of all, those two would never come together as a trio.
I'm just trying to think of our fantasy football circle.
Yes.
I don't know that they work well together, but, you know.
I mean, I don't care.
Okay.
We can figure it out.
All right. I was just not clear on how that was all going to work.
Because I hadn't figured it out yet. Let's get the people, then we'll figure out how we're going to carry you
all right.
off.
Sure. I just thought maybe that would be the easier way to get everybody to put teams together and then get us in. I don't know.
Semantics is not something we strive on around here.
No, it's not.
We'll figure this out
At some point.
As a former manager of people, I feel the role that I need to take is getting these things worked out. So.
Right. Jalen Hurts, though, yes, he is going to be fantasy relevant as long as he plays this year. I do agree with you, Jeremy, though. I would be very leery about trying to draft him.
Yeah, that's going to be a weird one. But it's also one of those things where if he does stay in Philly, he does play, people are going to look at his fantasy stats and be like, what are you talking about? Jalen Hurts is awesome. He's really good. And no. And then they're like really across the board, if you look at rankings from people who actually know things like Chris Sims, people like that, he's on the bottom half of, he's going to be in your 29, 30, 31, 32 range.
Yeah.
On the lower half of the bottom of the rankings, for sure. I've seen it across it.
Right. Also on Jeremy's bottom 10 talent-wise quarterbacks in the NFL, Cam Newton, right there at the bottom.
You know what? Sorry, I haven't been listening to shit that you said.
Of course.
Of course not.
I'll tell you how we do this. You were talking about teams, and that's kind of taking over the comments. You come to us with a 3-man team.
Yep.
So long as the amount that it takes to get your team in the league is paid, we're good.
Yeah.
How's that work?
Yeah.
There you go.
Perfect.
And yes, I do have to break down what that is. There's only one website that can house one of these.
Yeah.
And I'm still trying to figure out how it works.
Yeah.
I know there's going to be about a $200 cost per year to run their software.
And we're gonna have to reach out to them and see if, since we're gonna be putting on the air for them, maybe they can sponsor it for us.
100%
doubt.
Yeah. We're gonna be pumping your stuff, man, on our show. So why don't you go ahead and pay for that service for us?
Because Will Stanley he's got Eli, his son, he knows more about sports than at least half of us.
Yeah.
Including at least one of us at this table. I'm not going to say which one. Because that'd be mean. And I've already said shit about his hair today. Damn it! I tried so hard. Shit! Oh, shit! Oh,
Well, Jeremy, I wish you just shut your big fat yapper.
Oh,
Wow.
I did.
All right.
You know what's funny? When I started that, it was going to be a shot at you.
I
And
know.
then I looked over and I just audibled it on the fly.
figured that was
Listen,
the way that was
by
gonna go
far
down.
the best dig this morning, though, was I walked in the door and Tank goes, did you just walk in there and ask for the Katie Lang? And I was like, oh, God, bless it.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I was going to see how many Katie Lang song titles I could get into this show.
You know, you try to make yourself look good instead of a homeless person, and you come here and you just get blasted by your peers. I mean, with friends like this, who needs enemies? But I have all of you guys. Thanks, I need all of you. Like Zach Hurst was in the Facebook comments. We're live on Facebook as well right now saying, hey, who's that good-looking guy, that good-looking Giants fan?
Yeah.
That's me. That's me. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And my wife already complimented you.
And I said thanks to Andy. I appreciate that. Yep.
Michael White said, Tank, earned a ring bell for that Katie Lang thing. And I'm not going to lie, the bell was on the other side of the room from me when he said it. You're right. Yeah, that was a much overdue ringing of the bell.
For sure.
Right. See, I was gonna put that on. I was gonna comment that on your picture. And then I thought, no, that's just mean.
Yeah. My whole
And I'll probably get dragged for it by all of your liberal friends.
Kevin Vick just said, you don't have a constant craving, do you? Kevin Vick just gets his own bell ring.
I deserve it.
The only thing that pisses me off is that's the only song title I remember.
Yeah.
Now I had to pull the damn list back up.
Yeah. He started naming some of this there, and I'm like, wait, is it that or that you actually know Katie Lang songs? Because that would be, you can't. Because I don't.
Right. Don't worry, I already had the tab open. I got this.
All right.
So what are the biggest discrepancies of let's pull that graphic back up.
Yeah, the biggest discrepancy, I think, between the three of them is obviously Jalen Hurts is not in yours.
Well,
because,
of course.
I mean, that's the context of the list. Doesn't lend to him being in the bottom because he is going to be fantasy relevant as long as he plays.
The one that
Trey
I think
Lance.
you're too low on Trey Lance. Straight up,
I'm too low on Trey
frankly,
Lance?
I'm too low on Trey Lance.
I
think he's going to come along slowly. But all right, over/under number of games Trey Lance starts this year, I'll set the number at 5.5.
I'm taking the under.
I'll take the over.
I take the over Trey Lance.
Take the over.
Yeah, me too.
I'll take the over. I think he's too low for you for 2021.
Well, I also look at
he
it.
should be higher. He's not on that list for you.
He's higher. I have. I think I have him in the net 20s.
Okay.
For the fantasy, there was like 20 through 30 was almost like interchangeable.
Yeah.
The one I'm looking at for you, Tank, is that you have Drew Lock over Teddy Bridgewater. So that basically thinks you're going to have Drew Lock starting over Teddy Bridgewater.
Yes.
I don't. I think you're doing that wrong. You honestly think they're going to start Drew Lock over?
I do think Drew Lock will start over Teddy Bridgewater.
Have you got some sort of insider information on Denver?
I have Drew Lock over Teddy Bridgewater.
I think Drew Lock is the quarterback of the future, and he will start.
He's young, he's not the quarterback of the future. There's no doubt about that. I don't know that Teddy Bridgewater can beat him out. I think his good's too good, and yes, I understand his bad is markedly worse. I don't think he's going to beat him out.
I look at it as
I won't be shocked if he does.
The head coach is what makes the difference for me. I could see Fangio being like, I'd rather have the game manager quarterback that's not going to make mistakes like Drew Lock does as my quarterback in a year where I have to win games or I'm getting fired. So I'm going to say that is my decision-making process is going through that.
But my list is based on production this year.
Yeah.
And I've got them both ranked so lowly.
Yeah.
Because I think they split the season.
Okay.
I honestly do. I think they start the year with Drew Lock. He's going to be bad for 5 games or 6 games or however long his leash is.
Yeah.
I mean, because he could have a couple of good games that will earn him another week. But by week 6 or 7, if you don't have a decent record at that point and you feel like the rest of your team is very talented, which the rest of their team is very talented, then you got to make the switch, see if Teddy Bridgewater can win you some games. So I don't think they're both going to play the full season as the starter.
The one thing you have to remember is that Teddy Bridgewater was in Minnesota with Pat Shermer. Pat Shermer was the offensive coordinator the last year he was in Minnesota.
All right.
So he's going to come in and know the playbook pretty well.
Yeah. There's one name on my list as fantasy that I think would be markedly higher if things play out, because obviously I'm doing this with the idea that Sean Watson's playing this year. If Tyrod Taylor's a starter for the Texans the whole year, he's going to be more fantasy relevant because his rushing yards are going to be higher than they normally would.
I think you're too low on Jared Goff, too.
Yeah,
Jared Goff 31, that's too low.
Yeah, I had to, like I said, there was in that range of that 23 to 30, there was almost kind of interchangeable. I could see Jared Goff. I just ultimately see them with Dan Campbell and this whole regime. I just see this as going to be a running team, run. And
you also have to remember they're going to be behind.
Yes,
a lot.
That makes sense. So fantasy, he's going to get those garbage tees.
Fantasy football doesn't care when the points are scored.
Yeah,
they only care
exactly.
if they're scored.
And I love garbage time touchdowns. That's my favorite.
You have him at 31 on your list.
Yeah.
He's going to be on my next screen at 29.
He has him at 29 in terms of talented quarterbacks for 21 for 2021. I think that's dumb. I have Jared Goff in the top 20.
Yeah.
The amount of hate on him has gotten to an absolutely stupid point to me. And I understand there's no receivers in Detroit.
None.
I get that. He's still a more talented. I'm going to look at your list. He's more talented right now than Justin Fields. I've never seen him take a snap in the NFL.
Yeah.
Never. The best rookie quarterbacks in NFL history still threw a shitload of interceptions and on and on and on. The fact you've got him right next to Cam Newton is comical to me. He's better than Jameis Winston. He's better than Zach Wilson, Sam Darnold, Tua Tagovailoa, Daniel Jones, Jimmy Garoppolo, and then I get to Trevor Lawrence.
Yep.
I have Trevor Lawrence ahead of him.
Yep.
That's the only one. In terms of sheer talent, this is a guy that's still a 2-to-1 touchdown to interception guy.
Yeah.
This is a guy that's thrown for over 4,000 yards multiple times, and he took a team to a Super Bowl. And now all of a sudden he's Andy Dalton just because he got traded for Matthew Stafford, and I don't understand that.
He's basically Andy Dalton for me now because he has nothing to throw to. He's got a tight end in T.J. Hawkinson, and then he's got dudes. Just dudes. Do I think he's better talent-wise than Cam Newton? Of course I do. That's why I have him just ahead of him, because I think, Cam Newton's got better weapons than he does. And it's not even that close, in my opinion.
Yeah, and again, I'm looking at...
And that's talking about Kendrick Bourne and Nelson Aguilar. That's better.
Yeah.
By far, to me, than what Denver or Detroit's going to be throwing out there in their wide receiver core.
I think Amon-Ra St. Brown's going to have a good year for Detroit.
Sure.
If Terrell Williams is actually healthy, he's not a number one, let's be clear here, but he's been a good number 2 in his career. Perriman is okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to just straight up tell you, the guy, the one that screams at me, you're too low, Brian, you're too low on Jameis Winston.
Okay.
If Jameis Winston's starting quarterback of the New Orleans Saints, he should be markedly higher.
Yeah.
Yes.
He should not be at 28. He will be a top 15 fantasy quarterback, and I have no doubt about that.
Really?
Because I think they're going to be behind a lot. And you got to look at how many swing passes does Kamara catch. I mean, look at how good he was his last year in Tampa Bay. Now, granted, those were better weapons on a team that threw the ball more. I get that. But I think you're too low.
And Roy, it's not interceptions do count against you, but it's not like they count against you. That when you throw for 4 touchdowns and 4 interceptions, you're still going to have a pretty good game.
Still had a good day.
Yeah.
Right.
Fantasy-wise. So.
And then also I've got Cam Newton, and I've got Cam Newton at 30, and I got Mac Jones at 35. That's another one of those. I don't believe either of them starts the whole season.
And that's understandable. I've got Mac Jones at 29 because I think he does start the whole season. I don't think Cam Newton starts the year on a roster.
Yeah.
So I won't believe it until I see him on a roster week 1.
And again, I just think most of those guys, this 21 to 30 range for quarterbacks and fantasy, I think are all kind of almost interchangeable. You know what I mean? Like any one of them could be a little bit higher, anyone could be a little bit lower. I just think that if you just look at them, just say 10 guys. These are about the 10 guys.
I just realized you have Derek Carr at 24.
Yeah.
That's entirely too
You know
low.
how I feel about the Raiders.
That's entirely too low. Good God, that's gross low.
Yeah.
You have him behind Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah. Tua can run the ball.
Not really.
And Tua's got better weapons.
Does he, though?
Oh, yeah.
Does he, though?
Yeah, I
Will
heard
Fuller, Devontae Parker, and Jalen Waddle.
I get Darren Waller, who's better than anybody.
That brings up a point to me. Your wide receiver rankings on the ESPN radio show 92.9 880 1400 AM was wow. We need to discuss that at some point, maybe not on this video but later on. But Miami, you had them at 8?
I wanted to fight him if that was his little game. He wouldn't tell me his list beforehand. I wanted to fight him on it. I wanted to fight him on it.
I didn't hear the whole thing, but let me guess. Tampa Bay was number 1.
Of course they were.
I had people that listen to our ESPN show messaging me on Twitter going, I'll bet you $1 I know who 1 is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, because hashtag Homer over here.
Facts don't care about your feelings.
Ben
Champs
Shapiro.
of the world.
Kevin Vick and I have made an agreement that I don't know if you heard about.
No.
When the Buccaneers are eliminated from the playoffs, whatever team beats them, I'm going to ride in the back of his Toyota Tundra wearing the jersey of that team around Asheville, carrying their team flag.
Yeah. Yeah. I will shave the logo of that team in my back hair, and we'll go around in there.
With a Manscaped lawnmower.
With a lawnmower 4.0.
Yep, absolutely.
Don't forget to use the promo code Sportsocracy at manscaped.com. Save 20% and get free worldwide shipping.
Yeah, 24 is too low for Derek Carr fantasy-wise. I think you're higher than that talent-wise on Derek Carr. You're just thinking they're going to run the ball a lot.
Yeah.
I get it.
I think Derek Carr's he's not the 24th best quarterback in the league, and
he's better.
I don't think the Raiders are going to be good. Derek Carr is a good quarterback.
Yeah.
I still think he's probably more of that 14, 15, 16 range is where I think he is.
Those are the two I see that are too low. Trey Lance, if I knew he played more than like 8 games, would have to be higher.
Yeah.
Justin Fields, if he started the year, would be markedly higher. Justin Fields, if he starts the year and plays all 16 games for the Bears, is a high-end QB2. Mm-hmm. He's a top 15 quarterback in the NFL.
Just based on rushing yards alone?
Based on fantasy. Fantasy, sheerly.
But that would be, I would assume that would be a more rushing, kind of a Jalen Hurts situation. Is that how you're looking at it?
Yeah, he's very mobile.
Yeah.
He's going to run as opposed to check down. He absolutely can be.
Yeah.
Be a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
He would be a better fantasy quarterback than Jalen Hurts immediately.
No doubt.
And I mean, all right. So let's just go on to the next slide, shall we? Mm-hmm. Jalen Hurts is where for you, Brian?
I have him at 12.
Justin Fields would universally be better.
Yeah.
No, in my opinion, no doubt, because Jalen Fields can at least throw.
Yeah.
And has, oh my God, I can't believe I'm going to say this. The Bears have better weapons than the Eagles do.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah. I think this 11 to 20 was a little bit harder for me than 1 through 10 seemed to be pretty easy. 11 through the 21 through 30 was kind of interchangeable. This was a little bit harder for me as far as my rankings going.
Right. Well, because here you have to make the delineation between elite level production starters and the guys that could be in that in that realm. Would it surprise you all that much if Matt Ryan continued to be a top 12 quarterback?
Right.
Would it surprise you
in the NFL?
Right.
Or are you talking about from fantasy perspective or top 12 NFL talent?
No, I'm talking fantasy perspective.
It would shock me. With what he's throwing
with the weapons that he has. Okay.
Yeah, with absolutely no run. I mean, I like Mike Davis. He's not a starting running back.
Yeah. Kirk Cousins, would you be surprised? Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen have amazing years.
And I actually
think he ends up as a QB1.
I think he has Kirk Cousins too high.
And I just literally, as the words are coming out of your mouth, I'm looking at it, I'm thinking to myself, I'm doing that wrong because they're going to run.
I'll be honest with you, Dalvin Cook is my #1 overall player in fantasy football this year. Mm-hmm. Alexander Madison is a 7th round pick for me.
Do you think
I think he will have standalone value whether Dalvin Cook gets hurt or not.
Right. And do you think do you even have him probably ranked higher than some of the starting running backs in this league? Or do you automatically assume a starter is going to get a lion's share of them?
I'm trying to think of a starter I would have him behind.
Maybe having
to be somebody bad. Like Mike Davis is the worst starting running back I can think of in the NFL. But he's going to get
anybody
such
from Houston.
Volume. Yeah.
Anybody
Alexander Madison will be ahead of anybody in Houston.
Yeah.
Because I think they're going to run like 5 of them.
Maybe anybody higher than in the Jets just because we don't know who they're going to be going out week to week. Same situation maybe in San Francisco because it just seems to be always a different story there. Same thing in New England. I don't know who else is there. I mean, yeah, I would almost have Alexander Madison in that 27, 28 range of running backs.
The guys that I think you're pretty accurate. You're too low on Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill should not be on this slide. He should be on the next one. Mm-hmm. Tannehill's top 10 quarterback this year.
He's been my fantasy quarterback for a couple years on Dynasty, and
I like Tannehill as if you go no quarterback theory and you're the last one to take quarterback.
Yeah.
And you can get Ryan Tannehill, I'm all the way in.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't think you can do that anymore.
No, not with.
But it's going to be close.
I mean, I've already gotten like 400 trade offers for him in my league. Like as soon as the minute the Julio Jones news dropped, Ryan Tannehill's fantasy value skyrocketed.
Maybe we should go down that rabbit hole and see what those are, because I'll bet you there's at least one that's acceptable.
Yeah. Oh, the one was that I was going to ask you about was Zach Wilson and then next year's 2.
No.
Yeah, and I thought that was close. It. Yeah. That was the only one that I was actually kind of
quarterbacks are interchangeable pieces.
Yeah.
Once you get away from the Pat Mahomes, Dak Prescott, Russell Wilsons of the world, Lamar Jackson.
Mm-hmm. Although it is a dynasty league, right?
Yeah.
So in
Zach
the
Wilson
dynasty
will
league,
never be
Zach
a top.
Wilson?
He'll never be a top 10.
I don't see him putting up
Fantasy
numbers.
quarterback.
I don't see him putting up numbers in year 1 or 2 that are fantasy.
That offense
relevant.
is just not conducive to that.
He's going to have like Jimmy Garoppolo kind of numbers, I think.
Right.
When he was healthy that year,
Right.
20 touchdowns, 6 interceptions.
That was still a back-end quarterback one that year.
Yeah. I like Ryan Tannehill a lot. I also, and we got his picture up there, I really like Joe Burrow in fantasy if he can stay healthy, only because I think they're going to be down a lot, and he does have weapons, and I could just see them being down 3 touchdowns a lot, and him just throwing for 40 times a game, which is going to lend to fantasy stats.
The thing that's jumping out at me is, Tank, you're entirely too low on Deshaun Watson. You're entirely too low on Justin Herbert. And you're entirely too high on Baker Mayfield.
Okay. But, I mean, Baker Mayfield's got the weapons. That's the thing that hinges with me on
Not
his
really.
production.
I
for
still
this
don't
year.
understand oh, God, his weapons are so good. No, the running backs are really good. Odell Beckham and him have never fit well together. Yes, the Jarvis Landry thing works. I just feel like you're counting on a lot of Rashard Higgins. I also don't think that team's going to throw a crazy amount.
Right.
You have 2 really good running backs. It was very obvious last year they wanted to run the hell out of the ball.
Yeah, they're going to just pound
They
the
did.
ball.
And this year they're even better. I think they're going to be up a lot. Baker Mayfield's the number 1 most overdrafted guy in fantasy football leagues to me right now.
Yeah, because I think they're going to be up a lot, and they're just going to pound the ball in the second half. I mean, that's what they won with last year. I feel like if Baker's throwing the ball more than 20 times a game, that's not the plan they want to go with.
Right.
I think 20 is kind of that. Do you agree? Maybe that like 20 to 25 is about as much as you want to see Baker throwing per game.
It's 25 to 30, but for me, that's not. I don't think at the end of the year we're going to step back and go, Baker was a top 12 quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
I don't see a path of that happening.
Right.
I think he's going to get a lot of help from the running game. I think they're going to. I don't buy it. I've never bought it, and this is the last year that he comes on a cheap deal.
Yeah.
God, I can't wait for him to get paid $30 million.
I know. I foresee him as a top end too. Much like Derek Carr, Kirk Cousins, Matt Ryan.
I like
Carson Wentz was the one guy on this that I went, I think there's a possibility that he could be higher than the 19
I like every
where I
guy
have
you
him.
just said better than Baker Mayfield.
I think Carson Wentz isn't going to be in that Kirk Cousin kind of situation where Indianapolis is just they're going to run the shit out of the ball.
I agree.
So I don't see Carson Wentz bombing it out there.
Yeah.
But
I agree with you wholeheartedly.
yeah. Trevor Lawrence, we all have. Me and Jeremy have him kind of in this range. Did you have him lower? Obviously, you had him in the 21 to 30.
What?
Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence, he was like 21.
Yeah.
I think he was my first guy.
I really think Trevor Lawrence is even, no matter what happens, I'm trusting in what I have seen throughout college that he's going to be able to succeed in this league. And it's not going to be, I don't see like a Peyton Manning rookie year kind of out of him. I think the weapons are pretty good for him. The problem is the offensive line is just hot garbage. So that's my only fear for him. But I think he's going to be able to put up numbers. Again, this is a team that's going to be down. So, a lot of these quarterbacks that are talented, that are on bad teams, are going to be more fantasy relevant because I think they're going to have to throw the ball a hell of a lot more just to, at the end of the games.
Right.
So
The thing I have to tell you with guys like Trevor Lawrence is, I did the talent list.
Yeah.
I think he comes in and is immediately a top half of the NFL quarterback from a talent perspective.
Yeah.
I don't think the numbers are going to be good. I think everything that you've heard coming out of camp is very predictable with a rookie quarterback they're going to ask a lot of. Think back to Andrew Luck. Think back to Peyton Manning. There's been a lot of these guys.
Yeah.
They asked a lot of immediately. What did it lead to? A lot of interceptions. A lot of interceptions.
yeah.
And he is a guy that is capable of doing that, making bad decisions.
And that's the thing you have to remember. There are a lot of rookies that come in and are not given the full boat right off the.
Right.
So a lot of people will look at Luck and Peyton and what I think will ultimately be Trevor Lawrence and go, look how bad they were as rookies. No, look how much they were asked to do as rookies. They're calling plays. Joe Burrow was at one point calling plays for the Bengals.
Right.
Not every quarterback's asked to do that.
Yeah.
You're not going to see Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, Trey Lance, Mac Jones.
No.
They're not going to ask them to do that as rookies.
Yeah.
I could very easily see them asking Trevor Lawrence to do that.
And I could absolutely see that. So if that's the case, Trevor Lawrence is probably going to be on a lower list than this. He
scares the hell out of me for fantasy. Thinking back on it, and that's maybe where we were talking about what I have. Who did we talk about the last one? Oh, Kirk Cousins on there. Yeah, being lower. I would probably, those two could probably be interchanged with other people on my list there. So.
Yeah. To me, there is just a big question mark. There's not a question mark on the talent of Trevor Lawrence.
Correct.
There's a question mark on how well he's going to perform in his rookie season. And that's why I couldn't put him ahead of guys like Ryan Fitzpatrick and Ben Roethlisberger, because these are guys that are always relevant, regardless of what their weapons are.
Yeah.
This is kind of my argument for Matt Ryan as well. Deshaun Watson, I get it. I'm too low on Deshaun Watson. I still I'm iffy on what's going on. Again, I don't disregard the talent. Like, I went through, when Jeremy told me, he said do a top 40 list, and I went through and did my list of top 40 quarterbacks that I expect to produce well in 2021, and then he said, oh, no, my list was talent-wise. So I did mine. He's 3. Deshaun Watson's my 3.
Okay.
All things considered, or all those other things not considered, he's the top 5 quarterback in the league. So, I mean, if he does hitch on with Philadelphia, I know the weapons are bad, but they're still going to be a damn good team. I mean, we forget, he had Will Fuller and Brandon Cooks last year, which is way better than anything he's going to have in Philly, but he still led the league in passing yards last year. So the talent is obviously there. It's not a talent thing with me with Deshaun Watson. It's a question of I don't know what to do with him because he's in this nebulous space right now.
My opinion on what to do with Deshaun Watson is exactly what you would do if nothing had
ever occurred.
Exactly the way you took it last year is exactly how you should take it this year.
Yeah.
Because nothing else will change.
Right.
Ready for the top 10?
Let's do the top 10. Oh, the top 10. Everybody's got Patrick Mahomes. Everybody's got Josh Allen pretty high. I mean, it's one of the easiest things to do is the top 10 quarterbacks. Boom, there they are. Not a lot of discrepancies on the list.
The 1 through 10, I think these were the 10 best fantasy quarterbacks possibly. The order after, I think Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson probably are top 3. After that, I mean, it was tough putting them in order. You know what I mean? The actual guys themselves were easy to pick, but what order I put them in was a little bit harder than I expected.
Right.
I think Dak obviously is going to have a good year based on his weapons and all kinds of different stuff. Russell Wilson is going to be, if they're going in the direction that Russell Wilson wants, that means they're going to let Russ cook this year.
Yeah.
And he's going to be up there. Aaron Rodgers, I'm assuming he's going to be there, and it's up there. Kyler Murray, you have the dual threat. You have to put him up there. Deshaun Watson, if he's playing, is a top 10 quarterback, 100%, probably top 5. Justin Herbert was already top 10 last year as a rookie. He's going to be top 10 again this year. And maybe the Stafford thing on my end is because I feel, I'm still. He's my kind of sneaky MVP candidate this year.
Right.
I know not everybody agrees with that, but that's kind of where I have him. And I can see where Jeremy's saying maybe Ryan Tannehill's.
Where's Tom Brady?
Tom Brady's number 11.
Tom Brady's not a top 10 fantasy football quarterback.
Really?
No.
Okay. All right.
Tell me who you put him over.
Matthew Stafford.
You're drunk. Hell, I thought I was lower on Matthew Stafford than anybody. And if you've got Brady ahead of him, you're fucking doing it wrong.
Well, I mean,
they're going to be up way more often. They're going to run the ball a lot. And Tom's 43 fucking years old. I don't know why I keep having to say that like he's the bionic man or some shit. He's 43 fucking years old.
I know, but we've been saying that for 3 fucking years now, and that's the problem. Like, this guy is like unbelievable.
Eventually, if you keep saying it year after year after year, one year you're eventually going to be right.
And it's got to happen sometime soon. I mean, he can't defy like life. Like, you can't.
Well, I mean, when you have the number one wide receiver core in the NFL.
Well, you said we've been saying that for however many years.
Yeah.
He hadn't been a top 10 a top 10 fantasy football quarterback for 5 years before.
Right. Well, I was saying
last year the first time he was because he had 15 more touchdowns than he'd had in every year but one in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Right, and that's kind of my point though. Is what makes you think that's going to change with all of the weapons that they have back?
Well, I mean, look,
he's got all his favorite little toys.
Their
He's got a
schedule.
full season of Antonio
Brown. I'm not slanging your quarterback there, offended Buccaneers fan. What I'm saying is, look at the ones in front of him.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to put him in front of Matthew Stafford. Okay, Jared Goff was. If you think he's even a marginal improvement, Jared Goff was not that far behind Tom Brady from a fantasy football perspective last year. Justin Herbert is going to be in a lot of shootouts. Deshaun Watson can run, so can Kyler Murray, so can Aaron Rodgers, so can Russell Wilson, so can Dak Prescott, so can Lamar Jackson, so can Josh Allen, so can Patrick Mahomes.
Okay.
I mean, to me, Brady's a back-end one. And here's my problem. He's a back-end one that's going to go too high. Because you're going to have guys that go 4 rounds after him that score damn near equivalent to him. That's going to be my issue with Brady this year.
Right, is that he's being overdrafted.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, in terms of ADP right now, let me use Fantasy Pros because it's the most up-to-date. As of right now, Tom Brady is going as quarterback number 9. He's going ahead of Tannehill, Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow, Stafford, and Deshaun Watson. The Watson thing is obviously because of the potential to. I mean, I get that. I think that's going to change over time. Okay, so he's not being as overdrafted as I thought he was. Maybe I was looking at older numbers because that's the first time I've used Fantasy Pros.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'm okay. If he goes in the 7 to 12 range, I'm fine.
Yeah.
That's perfectly fine.
Do you have any discrepancies on the fantasy, maybe like top 5?
No. I think you're too high on. Oh, God. I think you're too low on Aaron Rodgers, but I don't know who I would replace him with.
Yeah.
I think it's Josh Allen.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Not because I'm down on Josh Allen. I just don't know that he can do the same thing he did last year.
He's there.
So many things went his way last year. And I just don't know that that's going to happen again.
And he gets every goal line touch.
I mean, I got him at 5 in terms of overall talent as a quarterback. So, it's not like you're missing it by a lot.
Yeah.
You have, in my opinion, you have the 10 that should be in that list.
Okay.
And now from a talent standpoint or a 2021 standpoint, I think Tank has 9 of the 10 that should be there. I think he's a little too high on Tannehill.
Okay.
And then obviously I like my own list.
Obviously Tannehill.
Yeah, I mean your list is.
Obviously Tannehill gets the bump. He gets the
Tannehill
bump.
Gets the bump, but you're still going to get a shitload of Derrick Henry.
Of course you are.
I think you're a little too high on Tannehill. Other than that, I think it's all right where it should be.
I'm surprised talent-wise. And maybe this is the overcorrection for you because we've been talking about this, but that you have Lamar top 10 because you were riding the Lamar's not a quarterback in this league for a while, but now you've overcorrected a little bit because the hatred on Lamar has gotten so much that you've kind of come around this way. Is that maybe what you're thinking with that?
In terms of he's 9 for me in terms of quarterback?
Yeah, because I just
Well, here's the thing. My claim on Lamar Jackson, he's not a quarterback. I never said he wasn't a quarterback. I said you'd have to basically build an entire team for it.
Okay.
When Baltimore did that.
Yeah. I don't want to.
I didn't think anybody was going to be. And my problem with Lamar Jackson has been, and will be. It takes so much to put around him because of how he plays the game. It's just completely different.
Right.
So you have to have guys you have to have receivers that are very willing blockers. You have to have a slew of running backs.
Yeah.
You have to have fullbacks and tight ends and all of these things. I didn't think anybody would be that willing to build a team that way. Well, they have.
They have.
Now, do I think that's going to win you Super Bowls? I think it would have to go very right.
Okay.
My problem with that is that it would have to go exactly right to win you a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, he's a top 10 quarterback in the league for me, and I don't even think it's debatable. I got him on the back side of the top 10. There are guys in that 11 to 15 range that you could argue, and I wouldn't tell you were out of your mind.
Yeah, and it's hard.
That's where he's at for me.
Yeah, and it's really hard to say, hey, this guy won an MVP. just a year ago, and he's not a top 10 quarterback. You can say that about Cam Newton because that was 150 years ago. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
And he got corona right after that, and it started a downfall for him.
But that's all. But you also have to consider Baltimore has put weapons around him now that are better than anything he's had.
Yeah.
And
they're bringing in Todd Gurley to be their fourth running back.
Right. They brought him in and talked to him. They haven't signed him.
Right. Yeah. They're going to focus on the run as they always do.
Yeah.
But Lamar Jackson is a guy that I believe can throw the football in this league. And I mean, for better or worse, as wrong as I was about him coming out of college, I mean, he's earned a spot in the top 10, no doubt. Any list you do, I think Lamar Jackson has earned his way in the league.
Did it. I think they did it right. Once they realized that Flacco was not the answer, after they got him, they gave him the end of the year, and what they did was they took the entire offseason and built that offense 100% around him. They scrapped what they had and started doing things different because of what they saw in the last couple games with Lamar was like, ooh, we have something here. And their coaching staff 100% devised a complete offense around him, and now they've added the weapons that they needed to add to him. They've done it right. Yeah, and it's the same thing I think about with Josh Allen. I mean, when Buffalo goes out and gets you a Stephon Diggs, that's what really helped that transition. I'm kind of hoping that I'm going to see the same thing for Daniel Jones this year. And that's just as a Giants fan, but I would love to see that. Because I looked at, after year 2 with Josh Allen, I didn't look at it and say, oh my God, this guy's going to be an MVP candidate at all. Yeah. They went out, got him a wide receiver. They went out and did some things for him. I'm looking at that same kind of thing that the Giants are doing with him, and I'm just praying that he's playing that. Like, it can happen for if I can see if Daniel Jones takes a Josh Allen leap from year 2 to year 3, the Giants are going to be a scary team.
He won't.
I know.
He won't.
I know.
And if a bullfrog had wings, he would not bump his ass.
But no, I mean, the thing that keeps sticking in my mind about Lamar Jackson in Baltimore is last year his 3 was Willie Snead.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
this year he's got Rashad Bateman as his 3.
But you also have to remember this is the 1 year he's going to have that. Yeah. Because the contract is getting ready to swell.
Yeah. Sure.
So, I mean, to me, Baltimore's all in. This is Baltimore going 100% all in to win a title.
Yep. So. And there's no doubt who's the king of the NFL. Patrick Mahomes, if he's not your one.
He's all 3 of our ones, and we had 3 completely different lists.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not debatable.
By the way, where are you taking him? If you're drafting in fantasy, you want to have the number 1 quarterback. Where are you drafting him?
Overall?
Overall. 2nd round?
You will have to take him very early in the 2nd round back into the 1st. Yeah. And I'm not doing it.
No, absolutely not.
I mean, and does it change if it's a dynasty or redraft?
Yes, dynasty quarterbacks should be the first 10 players off the board. Because they just play longer. Yeah, I mean, if you're doing a dispersal draft in a dynasty, quarterback should be, I shouldn't say the top 10. They should be 5 of the top 20. So, yeah, I mean, Pat Mahomes to me is the number 1 pick in a dynasty initial draft.
Yeah.
But I mean, for me, I'll have Pat Mahomes nowhere because I'm not taking a quarterback that high.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree. I'm not either.
I can't have a quarterback be the best player on my team unless it's a 2-quarterback league. That's different. But we'll talk about all those things moving forward here in the Sportsocracy.
That's right, we will indeed. So there's your first top 40 list of the summer, the quarterbacks for 2021. We will continue to do this each and every Friday throughout the summer leading up to the NFL season. We got OTAs going on. We got all kinds of stuff. Obviously, basketball playoffs still going. The Nuggets playing tonight against the Phoenix Suns.
Go Nuggies!
That's right. You got the Hawks and the 76ers.
Please, God, get me a win. I need a win.
You got the you got the All-Star race coming up in NASCAR this weekend. Check out the Speedocracy episode that Caleb and I did yesterday. It is here on the channel. And also, we got a new video coming out today as Jeremy and Tommy will be making their picks for UFC 263. Coming up tomorrow night, 10 o'clock is the main card. The big fight of the night. Israel Adesanya is going to be in the cage, and every time he is, I want to watch it.
Yep. 100%.
So they will give you the lowdown on the full card that also includes Nate Diaz. Coming up tomorrow night. So look for that today right here in the Sportsocracy. Hit that subscribe button as well. You see all of our content as it comes out here. Don't forget to hit us up on social media or here in the comments with anything you want us to go deeper on, just in a regular show or as a standalone thing. You guys, we love for you to be the producers of our show. And don't forget, you can support the Sportsocracy at Patreon, patreon.com/the-Sportsocracy. All different levels there, extra content as well that is going to be available to the different tiers of the Founding Fathers list of the Sportsocracy. Hit that subscribe button, follow, like, and share on all the social medias. Check us out this afternoon on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sports Tank with Jeremy Greene on every weekday afternoon from 3 to 5, and you can take us everywhere with you with the iHeartRadio app. I'm Tank Spencer. He's Brian Haynes. He's Jeremy Greene. Yep. Everybody have a great weekend, and we'll see you this afternoon on the radio side.